Are you a fan of The Munsters? It's one of America's classic sitcoms about an oddball family that we'll still likely be watching for years to come. The matriarch of the family was Lily Munster, played by Yvonne De Carlo. But do you know the full story of Yvonne De Carlo's incredible life and career? Stick around for more. Peggy. While she's an icon of American entertainment, Yvonne De Carlo was actually born in Vancouver, Canada. She was born Margaret Yvonne Middleton, though her childhood nickname was Peggy. This nickname came from the child silent film actress Baby Peggy. It was clear her mother wanted Margaret to grow up to be a star. Marie De Carlo herself had tried to pursue a career in showbiz, but to no avail. Margaret's father, William, was a salesman who also had a shady reputation as a swindler. He had left Canada on a schooner. The story was he would send for Marie and Margaret once he found a new home, but they never heard from him again. At age 3, Margaret was enrolled in dancing classes. As she got older, she took an interest in writing. She first started writing poems and realized she had a gift for writing. Eventually, she graduated to short plays. This is when she was bitten by the acting bug. She began acting in neighborhood plays and soon realized she wanted to become an actress. Throughout her teens, she continued studying acting alongside singing and dancing. Before we tell you more about Yvonne De Carlo's life and career, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First for more. Early career. Margaret began her career in the 1940s. She started going by her middle name Yvonne and dropped her surname to take on her mother's last name. Yvonne De Carlo began her career singing and dancing in nightclubs. She also entered beauty contests, coming in second in the Miss Venice beauty contest in 1940. The same year, she placed 5th in the Miss California competition. While she may have not reached first place, others certainly took notice of her. She eventually started dancing at a popular Hollywood nightclub called the Florentine Gardens. She became so popular, the owner of the club, Nils Granlund, decided to sponsor Yvonne after she was threatened by immigration officials to deport her back to Canada. As her popularity grew, Hollywood came calling. Her first film role was a small one in the 1941 film Harvard, Here I Come. While the role was small, she was able to join the Screen Actors Guild. Film career. Yvonne's first significant film credit was in Deerslayer in 1943. 2 years later, she won the title role in the 1945 film Salome. While the film wasn't a major hit, Yvonne was now a household name in Hollywood. She was early in her film career, but it was clear audiences wanted to see her. She signed a 5-year contract with Universal Pictures and appeared in films like Frontier Gal, Brute Force, and Casbah. Technicolor was becoming popular at this time, and most of her films were shot in color, as opposed to the more common black and white of the era. This earned Yvonne the moniker of the Queen of Technicolor. The film producer Walter Wanger, who produced Salome, had previously dubbed her the most beautiful girl in the world. As she became more successful in films, she also became a bit more selective with her work. One of her most prominent roles was as the character Sephora in The 10 Commandments, released in 1956. That film was a huge hit and brought her even more fame. It was also on the set of The 10 Commandments that she met Bob Morgan, who worked as a stuntman for the film. She was married to Bob from 1955 to 1974 and had 2 sons from the marriage. Yvonne also adopted Bob's daughter from a previous marriage. Some of her later films weren't as successful, and she eventually staged a return to B-movies. After Bob was injured while working on How the West Was Won, Yvonne returned to performing in nightclubs to help pay his medical bills. The Munsters. By the 1960s, Yvonne De Carlo was receiving only a few offers to appear in films. She had a few bit parts in popular TV shows like Adventures in Paradise and Death Valley Days. Her only notable film roles during this time were in McClintock and Law of the Lawless. But one day, she received a call from Universal Pictures, who had helped her launch her film career. This time, they were offering a role for a TV sitcom. It was a rather odd sitcom about a family of monsters trying to live a seemingly normal life. The show was known as The Munsters, and she was in the running to portray Lily Munster. At first, 2 of her co-stars, Fred Gwynne and Al Lewis, were worried about whether Yvonne would be able to transition working on the silver screen. After all, she was a massive movie star, and her experience in TV acting had been sporadic. But she soon became famous among TV audiences with her portrayal of Lily Munster. The Munsters ran for 70 episodes over 2 seasons. The show helped relaunch Yvonne De Carlo's career and brought a new legion of fans who began to appreciate her work. Yvonne had fond memories of working on the show and the stardom it brought her. Yvonne De Carlo's incredible life. After finishing work on The Munsters, Yvonne began acting on stage and revived her film career. She had roles in films like Hostile Guns, Arizona Bushwhackers, The Power, and The 7 Minutes. The 80s saw her in popular horror films such as American Gothic and Mirror Mirror. She also had a small role alongside Kirk Douglas and Sylvester Stallone in the film Oscar. Her last film released was a TV movie called The Barefoot Executive, which also starred Kurt Russell and John Ritter. She also starred in a couple of movies based on the Munsters. It was clear this was the role many fans would remember her for. Looking back, one can admire her prolific and multifaceted career. While she began taking dance classes at an early age, she also soon discovered a talent for writing, and before long, she began earning a living through singing and dancing, with acting soon to follow. Much of her success might be attributed to her mother, Marie. For Marie, life wasn't easy after her husband William left the family. Yvonne didn't have many memories of her father and assumed he had passed away. Marie mostly worked as a waitress and managed to bring up her daughter with this salary. They would move often, and once even stayed in an apartment without any furniture. But Marie invested her time and money in helping Yvonne get the right training to become a successful entertainer. Upon moving to the U.S., Yvonne soon developed a knack for performing in front of audiences at nightclubs. In the later stage of her career, she had a remarkable career on stage. She appeared in musicals like Hello, Dolly and Little Me. One of her most notable stage performances was in the musical Dollies. Her choice of acting roles also showed her versatility. Much of her early career was in B-movies and westerns, but she showed incredible depth in the biblical epic The Ten Commandments. With the Munsters, she showed she could excel in comedy as well. She could also act in horror films and sexploitation films, such as Russ Meyer movies. For her entire career, she was also adored because of her incredible beauty and charm. For most of us, we'll always remember Yvonne De Carlo as Lily Munster, but for many aspiring entertainers, she's an inspiration to never give up. She initially struggled to break into Hollywood, and once she did, the roles kept coming, but dried up in the 60s. But this didn't stop her from working hard. The Munsters brought back her stardom, and she acted continuously until her retirement in the 90s. Sadly, Yvonne De Carlo suffered a stroke in 1998. She died in 2007 at age 84. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think her best work was in The Munsters? Or do you prefer her work in films? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts Verse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.